The Denver Nuggets looked dead in the water until Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray unleashed a fourth-quarter storm so brutal, so unstoppable, it turned total collapse into pure basketball terror.
So it was one of those NBA games. They happen where it just seems like everything was going the opposite way for us. They ran it down our throats. We weren't getting back. And I thought guys reacted to not making shots early in the game. When you do that, you put yourself up against it, and you have to understand you have to sit down and guard to get yourself back into it, which we did in the fourth quarter much better after a horrific third quarter and second quarter defensively. I thought we were switching off the ball, and our physicality was completely lacking, which led to back cuts, layups, which is the way they play right now with the group that they have. And when you talk about that stuff and then you don't go execute it, you give that team confidence, and I thought they got confidence early in the game. And as you know, these guys that play in the NBA, professional basketball players, guys get hot and guys make plays. And the game was close enough where Ace Bailey made some really tough shots late. But that was our doing because of the way we started the game. It's unbelievable. And I said it in there to the team. We have to start understanding what kind of season he's having. Like, he had 31 on 17 shots, and he had 14 assists in this game. That's all NBA, all-star, all-level player in a game where we needed everything because it was a really tough night for our team. It's such a weapon to have a guy that can make threes in all situations, not just a specialist that can make it in certain situations.
I just think they just wanted it more. I think they just played harder. I think Ace Bailey was trying to prove himself. I think what's his name? Chandler was trying to prove himself. Filipowski. I mean, they were just Cody Williams. They were just going at us, and we weren't ready for that kind of pressure, I guess. And they jumped us, and we had to climb from behind. Offensively, great. Offensively, no complaints, honestly. Defensively, we have some work to do, and the teams are just like coming at us like that. We gotta be able to flip that switch, quicker and stop the bleeding somehow. I feel like we're just hoping that we're gonna somehow and probably eventually go on a run, but we got to be able to get a kill and get 3 stops in a row at some point when we want to or when we need to, and we weren't able to do that until the last couple of possessions of the game. So, we'll be better, but I'm just glad our offense is as good as it is.
Nikola, obviously that game wasn't necessarily the way you guys wanted to go in the middle, but you still find a way to continue a winning streak and stay on top of it in the fourth quarter. What kind of had you guys get down in the middle, and what allowed you to get out of it?
I mean, we didn't play any defense, especially in the second beginning of the second half. They were just attacking basically layup after layup. Even the first, I think, 20 points, all 20 points were in the paint. So we didn't play any defense, and it's hard when you when the team feel that in the beginning of the game they feel just they can just drive and score. I think in this season we lost some games that we shouldn't lose, and we won some games that we shouldn't win. So I think it's hard to predict and hard to say. I think it's hard to say. Like when we won a championship, we lost the last 3 games in the season, or 4, whatever, and we won a championship. So I think, and then we can maybe have 5 in a row and lose in the first round, whatever. Maybe we can lose next 7 games and then play in a playing game. You do not know. So. And I don't like to look in the future like that. It's not just how I am. That's not how I work. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Okay, before we get into some serious stuff, who's doing it better right now? Me or you?
Me for sure. You look like that every day. It's different. I switch it up.
But if it's so good, you might stay with that.
I mean, I'm shooting well, so I might keep it a little longer, but it's starting to get a little nasty.
All right. Hey, talk about this game. I mean, it was a struggle for 3 quarters of it. What was the difference in that fourth quarter for you guys?
We started making shots, making the right play, picked up the intensity on defense. And yeah, I mean, we just got to start games and end games better.
Davis talked about one of the timeouts. They got to feel you. Got to feel you. Can't play good defense if you're not kind of playing physical, can you?
Yeah, I mean, we tried to pick it up, but we got to play like that the whole game. That's not going to work on a good team. I think Utah just kind of laid the egg tonight. But a good team, I mean, we lose by a lot.
You got Tim Hardaway, who's now hit over 200 threes this year. I mean, how big was he tonight? I thought he really kept you guys in the game.
He spark plug off the bench. He didn't start off well, but he picked it up in the second half, making big-time shots we needed to bring us back in the game.
And Jamal Murray just set the Nuggets record for all-time threes in the season tonight. Last one was pretty big.
It's huge. He's been huge for us the last few games. Yoke, AG, we just got to play with more energy. But also today, I heard Tim's right behind him, so Jamal better watch out.
Thoroughbred or quarter horse?
Thoroughbred.
When you look at the game, it's a little bit of a struggle for you offensively tonight. Where are you physically, and do you feel your body saying, man, I know I could do this, and the body says, hold down just a little bit?
I'm feeling fine. Nothing but positive takeaways from the day. Especially when you struggle a little bit, there's always room to grow and improve and get better. Know what you need to fix. But tonight I feel like there was a lot of shots out there I could have made that I usually make, especially early on in the game. That would have helped me, develop a rhythm and stuff like that. But I feel like I did a lot of good things out there. I got in the paint. No one stopped me from getting to my spots. Now it's just all about finishing them and just continuing to have that shot-making prowess I've had.
Is that the key to your game? Because I used to talk about on the broadcast, that when you finish, that's when Peyton Watson at his best.
1,000%. I think that's the name of the game for all of us is like, first is can you get to the spots? Do you have the ability to get to the spots? Next is can you capitalize on it every time? And we got some guys on our team that are super good at it. But even the great ones, Nikola, Jamal, they have off nights. So it's good to have them by my side to continue to encourage me when things don't necessarily go my way.
How big was Tim Hardaway tonight for you guys?
Huge, like he has been all year. One thing about him, he's always going to rise to the occasion in the big moment and have the courage and the decisiveness to always trust in his work, and I admire that about him.
Is that a sign of a good team? Like Cam started slow. Tim didn't make any shots the first half, and yet both of them hitting monster shots in the fourth quarter, including Jamal too.
Absolutely. I mean, there's a lot of good players on this team, and I think that we're still getting healthy and figuring out how to play together. But these games are great for us. The games where we struggle are just as good for us as the games where we gel and everything's going fine. So I think, that's a sign of a good team. And then also, winning a game we aren't supposed to win. We played terrible on the defensive end of the basketball today, and we still found a way to come out with a win. So just take away the positives from it, look at the negatives, try to change them.
How close was that tip dunk? How close?
Oh, it was real close.
You were on top of the ball, on top of the rim.
Absolutely, yeah. It was a lot of traffic in there, but I just came in there and try to give our team that extra effort that we need.
And we were wondering who this Nuggets team would be in the clutch when they have a full rotation, and the players that were on the floor, they all made massive plays.
Time now to take a look at the upcoming schedule brought to you by All Copy Products. Sunday is a national game on NBC, the Warriors. You want to see that, and then the Nuggets back out on the road. They'll go to Utah to take on the Jazz. You've got Spurs, you've got Trailblazers, and the Grizzlies. A nice three-game homestand coming up. So the Nuggets improved to 47-28 on the season. They're a game back of the Lakers. The Lakers are playing a little bit later versus Brooklyn. Timberwolves behind, and the Rockets. Katie Winge, your final thought on this particular game?
The fourth quarter is what you needed from the Denver Nuggets team in order to get this win. You gave yourself a chance. You hung on long enough to say, okay, let's play our game in the fourth quarter. And this little guy, he turned the tides for the Nuggets.
All right, 6th straight home win for Denver, 5 in a row overall. For Scott Hastings and Katie Winge, I'm Chris Marlowe, reminding you once again the final score, the Nuggets win by 6. Let's head up to Vic Lombardi and Chris Dempsey for Nuggets Postgame Live, presented by Toyota.
Thank you, gang. As the Nuggets file into the locker room. Who's that? Is that Joker holding his kid?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. Well, there's a couple ways to look at this game, right? People start to fill in here to come. you can look at it and say, the fact that they had to dig that hard to beat a team like Utah and give up so many points in the paint, that ain't going to fly. Or the fact that they proved they play defense down the stretch, it's in there somewhere. They proved it late.
Yeah, it's probably both. It's probably both. Because defensively, we came into this game saying that you could use this to start to build a foundation of what you want to be as a defensive basketball team. They didn't really do that in this game, to be honest with you.
No.
But they were able to win this game down the stretch. I mean, this is really the difference between a young team in Utah trying to win and a veteran team that knows what it can do making plays down the stretch. They made all the threes, 14-3 run, and were able to win this game.
Final 4 minutes looked like a completely different game than the previous 44.
Absolutely.
Completely different game, and we will break it down for you when we come back. It is Nuggets post-game live. What a comeback. Down Colorado's Social Ball Arena. It is late night at ball, and the fans are charged up, as was Tim Hardaway. The Nuggets trailed all night. Well, I shouldn't say all night. They led after the first quarter, but it was all Utah from there. And it looked like Utah was going to steal one here in the Mile High City. They led by 13 with about 6.5 to play. And then what happened? What did you notice? What did the Nuggets change outside of just becoming more energetic on the defensive end?
Yeah, look, Utah is a tough team to have to handle given how they play. Stylistically, the way they play that 5-out offense, a lot of screening, a lot of tricky stuff on the perimeter, frees up shooters, frees up cutters, frees up guys to get it to the rim. And it took the Nuggets 3.5 quarters basically to get that sorted out in a way that started to generate missed shots for the Utah Jazz. And look, I think playing a team like this is very, very beneficial because
unless you lose.
Well, but even if you lost, because Nuggets are going to the playoffs. I mean, it's not like they're not going to the playoffs. But even if you lose, you understand that there are certain actions that your defense has to start to really get corralled. And they weren't able to really do that for the most part until the fourth quarter. So, yeah, I mean, this is very good to learn it in a win, but learn it nonetheless.
Well, the number I point to, the Nuggets usually dominate the paint. They gave up 84 points in the paint tonight to 46. That is, that is rough. However, when the game was on the line, they closed on a 28-9 run. 28-9. They only gave up 9 points in the last 6.5. Thank goodness for Tim Hardaway Jr., Jamal Murray. How about Cam Johnson, who missed a couple threes, and then he got some good looks late and made them late. This one right here gave them the lead for good. Jamal followed that up. That's the final bucket of the game, and that's how you come back and win a game that looked like it was going to get away from you.
Yeah, so if I had to boil the Nuggets win down to a type of shot, it would be the three-point shot. I mean, in the fourth,
they made 19 of them.
Yeah, they made 19 of them, and in the fourth quarter they made 8. And in fact, the Utah Jazz outshot them percentage-wise in the fourth quarter. But when you're making as many three-point shots as the Nuggets made, it didn't matter in the end, and some free throws as well. But the three-point shot was really huge for them today because the discrepancy in the paint could lead you to really lose a game like that. But you made up for that discrepancy in the paint by really separating it out. I believe they outscored Utah 57-27 from the three-point line. So that evened things up, and then obviously in the fourth quarter, it got you to victory.
So before the game, Chris Dempsey outlined the 5 best games for Jamal Murray and Nikola Jokic as a duo, the top 5 in their careers. I don't know, dude. You might want to make room for this one because take a look at these numbers. Joker, another ho-hum triple-double. Jamal, meanwhile, goes 31 points, 14 assists. He led the team in dimes tonight.
Yeah, and it was right off the top. You know, he had the one where it was it wasn't full court, but it was a wraparound, I think it was to CB maybe?
It was to Christian Brown.
And you just knew right off the top that, okay, vision is on for Jamal Murray. He had 10 assists immediately, it felt like. And look, Jamal has been doing this from a playmaking and scoring standpoint all season long. He will be an all-NBA player, I promise you that. And so he has done this again. And Nikola Jokic, wow, it's just amazing. Yeah, I love this. I love this every single time I see it. It's really, but yeah, we've been blessed to watch them both. There's no doubt about that. one of the greatest duos ever, the greatest duo in a Nuggets uniform ever.
Nikola Jokic, again, turnovers were an issue because Utah forced him into things, but at the end of the game, everything seemed to click.
Yeah, and there was, like, Utah, there was a lot of double teaming on the move when he caught it early in the game. And then late in the game, they tried a little bit more fronting him as well. We heard Will Hardy, the last time these two teams played, the Nuggets only beat them by 3. And Will Hardy, you know, he basically said in the post-game press conference, if you have an idea of how to slow down Nikola Jokic, please let me know, because I don't know how how we're going to be able to get it done. They threw a lot of different looks at him. By the end of the game, there's that pass. By the end of the game, he had it all sorted out, and he was able to not just play make, but then to score as well.
Well, they got to play Utah again next week at Utah.
Right.
And these ain't no gimmies.
No, these are not gimmies.
These ain't no gimmies. All right, what do we have to give away tonight? It looks like we have the special trading card brought to you by Replay Sports Card. It's in its case. We'll figure out a way to give that away tonight here for the good crowd at Colorado Social when we come back. Head coach David Adelman, his thoughts on tonight's win. 5 in a row for the Nuggets.